All right. Good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome, good people and the rest of you, wherever you are. Today is Sunday, April 12th, 2020. And today we are going to get into an email from a viewer and try to enlighten you a tad on Thai culture. We'll talk a little bit about boxing. Hey, if you want to watch some great fights, this is a good way to pass the time right now if you're locked down or staying at home. And we'll speak with my special guest, who is Alex, about music and some other topics. So, before I get into it, the following stream and all videos on this channel are brought to you by my Patreon patrons, website VIP members, and all your contributions. Thank you very much. You guys are the ones who help me keep going, and you're the reason why I do this. Today's shout out goes to Zachariah. Once again, hope you're all right, Zachariah. He's out there in Dubai, and hope you're doing well. Thank you for watching, supporting the channel, and I hope you and your family are safe and well, and everything's hunky-dory over there. If you'd like to support my channel, head over to anamericaninbangkok.com/Scott, SCOTT, or just take a look in the description. As of 8:40 a.m., the current temperature is 88 degrees, high at 96, low is 78, feels like 100. The chance of rain is 40%, and humidity is 74%. Wind, southeast 5 miles an hour. Visibility is 6 miles. UV index is 3. Air quality index 66, which is moderate. And the bot it's been fairly stable. Let me just take a quick look right now. But it was 32.6902 at 8:40, which is exactly where it is right now. So, bot is stabilized for the moment. Hello everybody. Hope you're all well there in, especially in the U.S. and everywhere else. I mean, everywhere's got it, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about everything that doesn't have to do with the news. So I think that's important, because I'll tell you what, the whole, for some people like me who I've just resolved myself to staying inside, it's a monotonous kind of life when you're just sitting inside most of the time. The big highlight of the day is walking outside in the front area, and you're just chilling out, petting the dog, getting a little bit of fresh air. That's kind of the highlight of the day. Or maybe I get to go to the grocery. And to be completely honest, I don't really like going to the grocery, because I don't trust anything right now. It's like I go to the grocery and, oh, should I touch that? Oh, how should I touch that? Should I wipe it down? What's going on? So all of us here, if you mean meditation, have you tried meditation? I used to. When I used to fight, I did that. But that was a long, long time ago. And yes, maybe I should do that. But this is the time to do new things. And what have I done that was new? I've done a few things online that were new. I've tried a few things. And I may try to brush up my Thai language skills. I think I have the time. There's a couple of books. I've been looking at some books. And there's a couple of books that I want to get through. And there's all kinds of videos and movies that I've watched and that kind of thing. So we're we try to keep busy, but after a while, you're like, even my wife said yesterday, she's like, we're sitting here, and it's like, yeah, okay, I got work to do. Okay, we can clean the house. We can throw something out. We can do this. We can do that. But at the end of the day, we're still in the house. It's not like we can go out and go, hey, let's go to a movie. And, it is a little draining. That's what I'll say. It just comes and goes. So, like yesterday afternoon, by the time it was 5, 6 o'clock, I was like, man, I want to go to sleep, but I don't want to go to sleep too early because I know I'll be waking up at like 1 o'clock in the morning and I won't be able to go back to sleep. So I tried to stay up and, watch some shows, and I watched a couple of documentaries, and I'm just laying there going, man, I'm tired of doing this. I want to do something else. So there are some things I'm trying to plan out. That's what I did. I just wrote, I take notes and write stuff out. And then whatever I see on the notes, like the next day or two, that really stands out, I transfer it over to something else. And I make a list of lists. And, I'm trying to stay busy. Nicholas doesn't seem to have any problem staying busy. Alex, he's a little grumpy, but he's got plenty of things to do. And then my wife, she's working from home, but she doesn't have to work full time right now, so she has some extra time. But we're not. I'm not really in a position now where we can just like jump out and go in some public transportation. I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk it. So we can still go to the beach and swim surf, but can't hang out at the beach and sit and talk. Just beeline straight to the water. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. My mother was telling me how my father went for a drive. He was just going a little bit stir crazy. He just went right outside, got into his car, drove around, and then drove right back. He drove around for an hour or so, and he came back. Now, what my mother was saying is, what happened if he broke down? I said, well, if he broke down, he'd have to contact like AAA or call you, and you'd have to come pick him up, and you guys would have to figure something out. Any inspiration to write? I do write. I write almost every day, but it's just a matter of how long I write, how focused I am. Is it a book? Is it just something? Is it notes? Is it something I'm putting online somewhere? Is it? Sometimes I've got to answer emails, and some of the emails are, lengthy. So, I do write all the time. But, yeah, the focusing on my writing is something that I think is very important. But again, when you're in all the time, when you are inside all the time, like for me, the way I know how I work, because I've been doing this for a long time, and I know myself pretty well. And the way that it works for me is if I stay inside too long, I just get totally bored. And I have to look for things to do, which is just like anybody else, right? But usually, I can go out, go have a coffee, go get some groceries, run an errand, go out, shoot some photos, do whatever. But it gives me time for my brain to clear out, and for me to get, a little inspiration. Because when you stay in the same place all the time, for me, it's a little more difficult just to sit here and conjure up things. Well, I can conjure up all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, I don't know. If I jump on a train, all of a sudden I'm relaxed. I'm in a totally different atmosphere, and I feel like I'm in a new environment, and it's easier to think. Yeah, there's a lot of places that are very spread out, and so the chance of you coming into contact with somebody is fairly limited. Well, that would be great. I'd love to have some of that, but that I'm sure that would be quite inspirational. Although I don't know that my family would want to be stuck in this stuck here, uh, you know. Now, I got a letter. Actually, this is a letter. Well, we're not going to get into that too much beyond Trinity, but hello, Gennaro. Hello, everybody. Carl, what's happening? Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say my hello one more time. That's it. Let me see if I can bring this up here. I got a letter. Oops, that's the wrong one. That's not the letter I'm looking for. Let me see if I can bring it up. That was something else. Let's see here. This one came. Did I? Oh, here we go. Oh, it was the second one. There we go. Okay, I got it here. Give me a second. Put the wrong screenshot in the image. So now this guy wrote me last night. And he's a pretty good question. And it's not the chowderhead type of question. So let me put this up here. Oh, it's a lot bigger than I thought. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but let me see if I can get it as big as I can and put it up here. A little too big. All right, here we go. Boom. Now let me read this, if I can. My Kai Port Dock. We have a curfew from 11 p.m. till 5 a.m. I know some surfers are they're up and out there right as early as they can get. All right, let me see if I can do this here. Oops. All right. Hey, Scott. Long before the outbreak, I would visit massage parlors in Australia, which were staffed by Thai, Chinese, Vietnamese, and Colombian women. 9 times out of 10, if I asked them to, the Chinese, Vietnamese, and Colombian girls would deep French kiss me while they were giving me a hand job. But the Thai women would almost always refuse. Is deep kissing something that the Thais think is dirty or something? Which is a pretty good question. You know. Let me get rid of this. So, basically, the question is just, do Thai girls have an aversion to French kissing? And I've been asked this question before. And, I mean, it's, first of all, he's in a massage parlor. I don't know why you would want to be making out with some chick in a massage parlor. I don't know. I don't think it's the brightest move. Listen, from what I know, I'll just give anecdotal evidence. They don't have an aversion once you get to know them, and if they like you. When it comes to somebody in a massage parlor or a prostitute, first of all, why would you want to be macking on them? Second of all, there is, I won't call it an aversion, but they don't take kindly to it, is public displays of affection. Publicly, they might give you a little peck or they might give you a sniff. But, yeah, if you are in like an atmosphere where you're paying for play, whether it be a straight, traditional massage parlor where you actually end up getting a happy ending or something like that. First of all, what do you want to be making out with them for? Because if they're making out with you, they're probably making out with all their other customers, or at least some of their other customers. Anytime, I mean, think about it. You're a guy and you're giving women massages. Some old lady, she wants to mac on you. You're gonna be like, no, I don't want to. But you get some young little 23-year-old hottie, you might be like, oh, wow, okay. You might be a little more apt to do something. Well, women are the same way, but it could be a cultural thing. Maybe the guy's a decent-looking guy. Who knows? I don't judge. I let the women, they can judge for themselves. But here in Thailand, from what I know, from what my friends have told me, and from anecdotal evidence, what I'm going to say is it's a cultural thing. I mean, there are girls who they won't give oral pleasures because they believe it is dirty. They believe that Buddha says they shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be down there. Uh, so it's a matter of the girl, because I mean, you can go into, well, not now, you can't, but you can go into go-go bars and you get some chick drunk and the guy's drunk and he's dancing on the stage or something. He comes back down, he's sitting in the corner, and they've been going at it all, like all night, and they're making out with each other. And it just depends. I mean, because there are some that won't and some that will. There's spitters and there's swallowers. There's some who don't want to do it at all. So, I don't know, but in the maybe in the massage parlor arena, I would say, that perhaps they just, who knows, maybe they like, I mean, it's very difficult for me to say because I don't know the guy. I'm not there, and I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. But, that's the thing. What are you going to do if you meet a girl here in Thailand, you're set up here, whatever, or she's back in the United States, and you guys are snuggling up to each other, and you're holding hands, and, you're getting things are getting a little heated, and then she says, oh, I don't kiss. She gives you a little peck. She gives you a little peck. Listen, I got to tell you, when I first started going out with my wife, I tried to hold her hand, and she goes, not yet, I don't, She goes, everybody's going to be looking at us. And I was like, okay. And then, like a couple of weeks later, she was like, she didn't care. But, like, do I ever, like, I mean, I don't think I even give her a peck goodbye. I mean, maybe I give her a hug, and even that's a bit much in Thailand. But that's changing slowly but surely. It's changing, and you'll see some people hugging and maybe a little peck or something like that. But unless it's some chick who, I don't know. I don't know how to I don't know how to phrase the terminology. I don't know if it's about the woman being slutty, about her not caring, about her just wanting to make out with the guy. Who knows? But rarely do you see a chick like at the airport macking with some guy, like you might see in some bar in the United States, where the guy and a girl are up in a corner and they, it's like get a room. You almost never see that. And I can tell you that many years ago, I was with this girl, and she told me that she was kissing me. She did kiss me, but she told me I don't usually like to kiss, and I said, why is that? And she said, because a lot of foreigners have stinky mouth, or they smell like cheese. And that stuck with me. I've remembered it all these years. So, you got to try not to have stinky mouth. You got to try to smell good. Look halfway decent. And, take care of yourself. And then maybe, if they're open to it, and if a Thai woman is dating, like a decent Thai woman is dating a foreigner, she's already taken a step to say, hey, I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm going to go outside of the norm. I'm going to go outside of my circle. I'm thinking outside the box. And, I'll try something different. I don't know. I don't know where he is. He might be lurking for all I know. You know, he's always around. Maybe he's got something to do. Maybe he's sleeping. I don't know. Usually, even the most regular people are here. They come in and, sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not, so no big deal. Jono hasn't been in a while, but he's told me that, he's been sleeping a lot. He listens a little bit, and then, he gets caught up in something and he doesn't listen. So, and a lot of people have told me, another one is Fidelity Quester. If they don't have anything really worthwhile to say, then they don't want to come in. They'll just lurk and listen. Maybe he's French kissing the maid. I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he's, entrenched in Gunsmoke. I don't know. I don't really know. And, I can't keep up with everybody now because, first of all, there's more and more people watching the streams, but over the years, I've accumulated a number of people, and I try to keep up, especially, like Mr. Mitch has got some medical issues. Carlos, I don't know where he is. He's got some medical issues. Richard, he's got a few things going on. There's a lot of people, they got, not everybody can just sit, even now, can't just sit and watch streams all the time. So, it would be worrying to me if someone was watching every single stream every day and always commenting, and I would think to myself, don't you have anything else to do, or is it something that is this something like for me? I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. I listen to a couple others, but I don't always listen to them because I get bored. I would get bored with me. I mean, to be completely honest, I'd get bored with me. I'm bored with myself now. I mean, On the contrary, Beyond Trinity, I thought that it was heading in that direction, but actually, let me give you I'll give you the breakdown. Actually. I noticed that there was a higher percentage of younger people that were tuning in. Now, maybe this all has to do with the fact that people are locked down. I don't know. But let me see here for a second. I'll give you the whole breakdown. In the last 28 days, where's the age? Okay. 8.9% were 25 to 34. 23.5% were 35 to 44. 33.3% were 45 to 54 years old. 22.2% were 55 years of age to 64. And 12.2% were 65 and over. It says see more. Let's see. Are there older? The majority of people, the majority of people who watch this show are men. For whatever reason. No, they don't. Do your analytics show poo interest by age group? No. Seasoned veterans stream. Your streams are a good time when in New York. Yeah, this is the other thing. A lot of people have told me, well, I'm in Thailand, so it's really not a great time. I have to go back and watch them. I know several people that do that. They don't want to watch it live, and whatever. What are you going to do? That's how it works. I wish that I could be on at all different times. And I thought about, well, maybe one day I'll do a stream at this time. Another day I'll do a stream at that time so that the Europeans can get into it. Another day I'll do a stream at a different time. And it's just too difficult. It's just, what are you going to do? Because then the other thing is that people get accustomed to seeing, you on a certain time and then you're not there, and they're like, oh, what's going on? The other day I watched my buddy Steve. He's in Turkey. And I think it must have been 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, which there was about 2 in the afternoon. 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And so it was interesting to see because he showed me outside of his apartment. There's an apartment there. He showed me outside of his apartment how people were interacting and weren't interacting, how the streets looked and stuff. And that was pretty cool. But, he's got the same, everybody has the same problem. You can't please everybody all the time. And that's why I've stopped really, I try not to give too much weight to the comments and to the thumbs up and thumbs down. I don't really even give a shit anymore. All I care about is the viewership going up, or the number of viewers going up, and is it making any money? Because if it's not making any money at all from advertising, then I got to ask myself why. Anyway, enough about that. But I thought that was a very interesting topic. And then, you could go take that a little farther. Like I said, there was one woman who said, hey, giving oral satisfaction in Thailand is frowned upon by some women because of religion, because of religious beliefs, which, that's a shame. I don't know. I mean, what I'm wondering is, anybody here in the chat who has been to Thailand, did they have any problems with their girl or girlfriend or whatever you want to call it, their companion, not wanting to kiss or something else? Has anybody experienced this? Because that's, like I said, my experience is all anecdotal. Friends tell me stuff, But I think that, especially the younger Thais, they know if they're going to be with a foreigner, and they try that, I'm only going to give them a little sniff. I'm not going to kiss them on the mouth. I don't know about now because of what's going on. But I think that the younger Thais, and I'm talking about 20 to about 35, or let's say even younger than that, but I don't know because, but anyway, from whenever they start kissing, whenever they start getting involved, yeah, you see, you never had a problem in Pattaya and Bangkok. I think that especially the younger ones, they know that it's expected. They know that. Now, I will say that some of them they may only be doing so because they know that you want that, and they know that you like it. They know that you want to be kissed, and that but they're not. They just it's a cultural thing. When you're a kid, even our kids. My wife used to give the kids a sniff, but I mean, she's not a big sniffer. She's not running around sniffing people on the cheek. Now she has told me, you need to trim your beard or cut it off or something like that because it irritates your face, which that happens everywhere. So that has nothing to do with the culture. Now, yeah, well, there are some who they pull the old. No, I did not say my wife is a sniffer. I said she's never been a sniffer. She didn't go around sniffing my kids. I mean, once in a while maybe, but I mean, she didn't have a problem kissing my kids, which is a good thing. I think she knew. This is irritating. My wife has been and the most getting public is holding hands in the. Yeah. Yeah, you see, they're not real big on it. It's not like they're not like some like a Colombian chick. I mean, come on, or some Latina, where it's like they're out with their man and they're like hanging all over them, or I mean, it's depends on where you are. It depends on the woman, but for the most part, the Thais are relatively conservative. Now, I'm not saying they're conservative behind closed doors, but they're conservative publicly, for sure. So something else we were going to talk about today is boxing, and the only reason really that we're going to talk about boxing is um, because it can give you something to do if you enjoy the sport. And considering I grew up with boxing and that the UFC and MMA was not even around when I was a kid, and I was watching fights on CBS and ABC, and there was none of this pay-per-view stuff, which we could get into that whole model. Uh, I think that the time we're in is going to, once we're done and we're out of this, which may take a year or two, the economy is going to reflect that changes were needed. And I think that the whole pay-per-view model and everything like that, I don't know that that's going to continue the way that it's been. And, gone, I think right now, gone are the days of $89.95, $79.95 pay-per-view fights. I don't think that that's going to happen for quite some time. And I got to say that I know that some credit card companies have cut their minimum balance amount. If it's like 10%, they've cut it down to 5% to try to help people to be able to make ends meet. So, as far as people paying, I mean, you think about it. How many people are going to want to pay $90 for a fight that's not in front of any fans? How many people are going to want to watch basketball? I don't know. Like, you're going to watch the Final Four, and you're not going to, it's not going to be free. You're going to have to pay for it. It's pay-per-view. You got to pay $50 in this time. I don't know how many people are going to really want to do that. So that's something to think about. But I've got a list of fights. Fights from the current era, and also fights from the early 1900s. What was that one was that the one? Let me see. I'm trying to think. I left one off. John L. Sullivan. I heard the NBA is going to show old games where the players who play the game narrate it throughout. Well, I think that's good. I don't know. How are you going to monetize everything? This is the thing. How are you going to monetize everything? That's something you always have to think about. Because if it's not on YouTube, okay, if they do it on YouTube, they're going to get a lot of, they're going to have, I don't think he loaded his gloves. And I love Dempsey. I thought he was a class act, especially where he came from. How are you going to monetize this? If it's on YouTube and you go to the NBA channel, okay, there's going to be people that are going to want to watch. The true fans are going to watch. But you can't. But now you can't really just change the channel because there's so many channels. Unless somebody is really into, say, boxing or the NBA or football, they're not going to go. Oh, I've got to go see that old. Listen, I mean, I've even thought about watching the old NFL game between the Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs because I was a little boy glued to the TV during that one. And while, yes, I mean, okay, fans are going to be engaged. They need something to be. They need to be engaged, right? They need to be engaged, doing something because people get bored. It's going to happen. What was I doing? If people sit around long enough, they're going to either go out, they're going to go out and make trouble, or they're going to stay in and get stir crazy and have to try to figure something out. And if they don't, who knows? It's no secret that people will end up committing suicide if this isn't taken care of in the near future. That brings me to another point, but I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into the whole virus and what's going on, because that's not what this stream is about today. We don't want to talk about news. We don't want to talk about all that kind of stuff. For me, that is a great question. Tough question. Who's your favorite boxer of all time? I think people are getting drunk, and in 9 months we'll see a bump crop of kids. Well, as I understand it, there's a higher incidence of domestic violence. There's more kids, and there's also going to be more divorces. That's what I've heard. I'd say I really love Sugar Ray for his ability, but I like fighters like what was the guy's name? Harry Greb, Mickey Walker, Stanley Ketchel. These guys, they were fighters, man. They were in the days when they were fighting once, twice, even 3 times a week. Some of them. And it was because there wasn't the money that there is now. Now it's like a guy fights, once or twice a year, and it's like, oh yeah, he's active. To me, that's not all that active. Now let me get into this here, because before everybody starts giving out their picks, I want to put mine up. All right, this is just a few of them, and then I'll get into the older ones that I really enjoy, because I like a lot of older fights, and fights that probably are not on here. This was a list I just saw on Fight News. Gennaro, I hate all sports. I would rather read a book before committing the time to watch a sporting event. I like the fights, and occasionally I'll watch the World Cup or the last game of the World Series or something like that. But other than that, I'm just not really all that into it now. I'm just, first of all, I think I've been having a lot of headaches. Oops, I've got to put these back on. I've been having a lot of headaches lately, and I don't think it's because I got something wrong with me. I think it's more because my eyes are always on a screen. Now let's get into this. Marvin Hagler versus Tommy. I'm just going to read these off real quick first. Hagler Hearns, Castillo Corrales 1, Gotti versus Ward 1, 2, and 3. Vasquez against Marquez, great fights. Leonard and Hearns, pretty good fights there. Torres versus Chachai who I have met Chachai and I spent 4 days, I think it was 5 days and 4 nights with Chachai and his family in Chiang Mai, and wrote an article for Ring Magazine about him and various other publications, and hell of a nice guy. Let's see here. Sanchez versus Gomez. Mancini Kim, I don't know about that one. That's a memorable fight. Probably one that Ray Mancini would rather not remember, though. But Chavez versus Taylor, Meldrick Taylor. I was out. They fought 2 times. They're talking about the first one. And the second time, Meldrick Taylor was out in Palm Springs. He was at, what was the name of it? It wasn't Chillers, was it? It might have been Chillers. It wasn't Chillers. It was a nice place. I can't remember the name of the bar. There weren't that many bars. I can't really remember it, but to quote Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie Twins, it's not a tumor. When Danny DeVito mentioned he might have a brain tumor when Arnold complained about a headache. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a tumor. Anyway, so I'm talking about Chavez versus Taylor. That first fight was brutal, and the way that it ended was heartbreaking for Meldrick Taylor, and I think it really destroyed him as a fighter. But I was out at this club, and I saw him in the club. And this was like a week before the fight. And I was like, hey, are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm like, what are you doing out? I got to let off some steam. And he was out, man. He was out late at night. It was like, midnight when I met him. And he went on to get knocked out in, 8 rounds or something like that. Larry Holmes versus Ken Norton. Okay. Lewis versus Klitschko. Okay. Rafael Bazooka Limon versus Bobby Chacon. I think Carlos Zarate was another one that I really liked. He was a great fighter that I liked. Eric Morales versus Barrera, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, those were some good fights. Now, let me get to my fights. Some of these, Hagler, Hearns, the Castillo versus Corrales, Gotti, Ward. Let's see here. Sanchez and Gomez. That's about it. Those I would consider, to be really great fights. But let me get to mine. So I've got Joe Louis versus Billy Conn. And Billy Conn almost won that fight, and he got a little too cocky, and Joe Louis knocked him out. Then we got Dempsey versus Firpo. That was a fantastic fight. You got to watch that fight. I don't know how many times. I think it was like 9 times the guy got knocked out of the ring. Sugar Ray Robinson versus Jake LaMotta. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1951. Holmes versus Cooney. A lot of build-up for that fight because, Cooney was the Great White Hope. That's what people were calling him in the press. He hated that. But Holmes is just a little too much for him. Now, 2 fights that were fantastic as historical events is Joe Louis versus Max Schmeling. The first fight because not so much, but the second fight for sure because all the world was listening to see who would win this fight because it was good and evil. It was the German versus the black American. So the blacks were into it because they wanted to see that the German government and Hitler were talking about Aryan supremacy and so there was a huge buildup and people were listening. Near every American was listening to it on the radio. Lennox Lewis, one of the greatest of all times. One of the greatest, in the top 100 as far as fighters, but is he in the top 10 or 20? I don't think so. Ali versus Foreman. What do you think about Roberto Duran? He's a great fighter. He's an emotional fighter. He's not like a guy like Zarate or Alexis Arguello, those kind of guys who were very disciplined. But the Schmeling and Lewis fight, the second one, fantastic. Now, here's one that most people don't think of. And I know this fight pretty well, and that is Evander Holyfield versus Michael Dokes. If you haven't watched that fight, by all means, watch it. Because Dokes was a very, very skilled fighter. I think he's dead now. He had a lot of problems with drugs and that kind of thing. But at the time, he was on his game, and he was like a Burt Cooper, except I think he was a little more skilled. If you know who that is, Smokin' Burt Cooper, who he's also dead, unfortunately. Great little fighter, but he was a heavyweight, but he was a little heavyweight. Let's see here. All right, so Holyfield Dokes. Now, one of my favorites, just because I know Juan Manuel Marquez, and I got to know him a little bit in Borneo, and I know how badly he wanted to beat Pacquiao, was their last fight where he knocked him cold. I just love that because, the Filipinos, obviously he's a huge superstar in the Philippines and a great fighter, one of the greatest for sure. And he's had, he's the reason that boxing exists. He comes from very little, from basically nothing, and he works his way up, and through hard work and sheer will, he becomes something that most people in his position would never become. But, the Filipinos, they were all rooting for him, and they, of course, they thought he's the greatest, he can't be beat. And Juan Manuel Marquez has always been and will always be someone who was very, very disciplined, very technically skilled, a great fighter. He'll never get the accolades that Pacquiao got. And so when they were fighting that last fight, I watched the fight. And, I guess Pacquiao was winning the fight. And I don't remember what round it is. Is that you, Alex? Slow down. Close the door. Wow. He even put a clean shirt on and everything. Come on over here, buddy. But we're almost ready for you. Come over here. You gotta move the thing. Let's see. Can I get you in the picture? We'll see in a minute. This way. You gotta move. Yeah, there you go. All right, good. Clear? It's clear. Got long hair, man. Shake it. Shaggy dog, man. Shaggy dog. But I really like the fact that I was watching that fight, and they're talking about how Pacquiao's doing well and how he's gonna, he's headed for victory or whatever. And then I could see that that Marquez was trying to load up with the right hand and catch him with a big right hand. And then when he did, I thought, oh, he's down. And then I went, he's down for a long time. And he was down and out for like 15 minutes. So there was no, the referee stopped it at the, he stopped it too soon. There was no controversy. And so I like to see him go out that way. And he tried to make another fight. They couldn't come to an agreement. Now I believe he's retired. Oh, yeah, I'm jealous of his hair, for sure. You're going to move over a little bit. Let's see if it works. If we use this, we can... There we go. All right. So, man, look how young you look compared to me.
You're not too far off.
We're way far off. What are you talking about? You should be cautious when there's a knock on the door. It could be the Grim Reaper inviting you for the final trip. Yeah, well, don't remind me, okay? Anyway, let me go on and let me finish up with this stuff. I got Sandy Sadler against Willie Pep, great fight. Here's another one, of course, both Foreman versus Frazier fight, just to see how easily Foreman dispatched Frazier. Now, one fight that, if you're a fight fan, you know this fight. If you're not, and you want to watch a knockdown fight where just two big guys beating the hell out of each other, Foreman versus Ron Lyle. Just that they would call that a slobber knocker. That's what that would be called. All right. Jack Johnson versus Stanley Ketchel. I don't know how many people know this, but Jack Johnson was the heavyweight champion. Stanley Ketchel was the middleweight champion back when they only had 8 divisions. And maybe if I put it back a little bit, it'll work better. Let's see here. We should be all right. Yeah, you can move closer. There. Okay, yeah. Don't lean away. Lean in. That way, we'll have to set up the webcam sometime. But by that time, I might have another computer. Who knows? But anyway, that was back in the day when there was only 8 divisions. Now, I don't even know. There's like 88 divisions or whatever. But Johnson was the heavyweight champion. Ketchel was the middleweight champion. It was supposed to be an exhibition. And Ketchel was a bit of a sly dude, and he saw an opening, and he knocked Johnson down. It was a hard knockdown also. And Johnson got pissed. He got up, and he knocked out Ketchel and hit him with a punch so hard that the teeth were embedded in his glove. So that was the end of the middleweight champion. And then Stanley Ketchel ended up, I believe he was sleeping with a married woman, and the husband came home and shot him dead. I believe that's what happened. So,
Really?
Yeah, really. So, in other words, don't be messing around with married women. You know, they're off limits. That's what you say. Yeah, Jack Johnson was, for his time especially, he was fantastic. Back in the day, everybody used to just stand up real straight and put their fists up, and they didn't have a lot of movement, not nearly as much movement as they now do. I mean, nowhere near. It's a completely different sport. Iran Barkley and Roberto Duran. Great fight. Probably one of Duran's last really great fights. I wouldn't call his performance great, but the outcome was great for him. Now another fight, and I have a love-hate relationship with this fight, is Nigel Benn versus Gerald McClellan. And I don't know how many fight fans, really serious fight fans, we have. There we go. I don't know how many serious fight fans we have in the chat right now and how interested people are. But if you know anything about this, Nigel Benn, British fighter, extremely fit, very, very good fighter. And McClellan was an animal. He had knocked out Julian Jackson, who was another incredible fighter, just a little bit chinny. Why didn't they have as much moment with earlier boxing? Was it movement, you mean? There was just a style. It was very stand up and very, put up your dukes, that kind of thing. You see, the stream is lagging, and it does that sometimes. There you go. It wasn't like they stood there and they were moving their head and they were sliding left to right. They just kind of put their hands up and went at it. Oh yeah, Jackson was a good fighter. He was a very good fighter. If you want to watch a really good movie, watch Hard Times with Charles Bronson. That was a good movie. I really liked that movie. Fantastic movie, and that was about bare knuckle boxing before it was banned and they started using gloves. And I think that's it. I think that's it for the fights for me. There's so many fights, but that list of let me see if I can give you guys this. Let me see here. Yes, I can. I'll put this up. I'll put my list up. And where is it? If I can find it. There we go. And if you guys want to watch this, and you're stuck at home and you want to watch some good fights, this is my list. There you go. So I'll leave that up for a couple of seconds, and we'll move on. And Alex, I trained him from when he was a little kid. He can throw a jab and a right cross and a left hook and an uppercut pretty good. And he trained with some of my old fighters. Actually, Patchai contacted me the day before yesterday. He wants some photos. Yeah, but I don't know where they are because I didn't take many photos of him for whatever reason. I didn't take many photos. Okay, so you should be able to. You got plenty of fights to watch Watch that movie Hard Times. And so anyway, welcome Alex. Welcome to the stream.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
You're up early today.
I wonder why.
You never know, Beyond Trinity. Watch YouTube demonetize your video because of your list. What were the best Ali fights? Hey, man, I like the Ali versus Cleveland Williams. I like that fight. And, of course, I liked, the Frazier fights and the Foreman fight. But, he had some good fights. What was that? Henry Cooper. I mean, I like some of his earlier fights. I hated seeing him lose to Spinks. So. But out of those, you can make your own determination. I mean, you can watch this. Those fights can keep you busy for at least a couple days. But those are some great fights. And like I said, Hard Times, that's a great boxing movie. There's another one. What's that Jeff Bridges movie? Let me see. He was in a boxing movie with Stacy Keach. And I have the movie around somewhere. I don't know where it is. Let me see. Fat City. The movie is almost 50 years old now. Fat City. Very good movie. That's another one. There's a boxing movie. Like I said, I want to get away from. Tomorrow we'll get back into the news and everything, but today I want a little bit of a day off. Just doing my head in this stuff. So anyway, where are we at? Alex, you're the music man. Spinks was coked out the second fight. He was coked out of his mind the second time he fought, which says a lot about how good he could have been had he not got involved in drugs. But, he was not... listen, you want to have drinks. You want to drink, and you like to drink once in a while. Yeah, that one's all right. I like that one. You can drink, and as long as you wake up and go run and you do your thing. If you got a lot of skill, you can get by. But once you start doing coke, forget about it. It's not good for you, and it'll ruin you. And it did with him. His addictions to drugs and to women, they really did ruin him. So anyway, Alex, you're here for what reason? Alex said he wanted to be on the stream, and I was like, I don't know. Do you really want to be on the stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but why? What do you want to talk about? You don't know? You got something you want to say?
How you all doing?
How y'all doing? Howdy there. How y'all doing? Well, so I guess he sounds Thai, huh? Is that the Thai way? Why don't you give him your best why and say, Sawadee Kap? I'm joking. You don't have to do that. So, anyway, Alex, is not able to go
to university.
Well, he can't go to university. He does it online, but he also cannot
go to the guitar lesson.
Yeah, you can't go to the studio and practice because you gotta move over. Turn this way. Come on. Look at yourself. I'm always touching my face. It's not good. All right, there we go. Okay. Look where your face is. Move in. Thank you. Turn your butt. There you go. Now you're in. We don't have to worry about it. I'm doing good, thank you. Oh, that's good. So, how's life
during quarantine?
Yes, but we're not talking about any of that stuff. No, we're not. We're just talking. I'm just asking you, how's it been that you're like basically stuck in the house with all three of us and can't really go anywhere? How's life? What are you doing? Tell us what you're doing with yourself.
Studying
and
doing some chores.
Doing some chores?
Exercise.
Doing some chores? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's not get it twisted.
Hmm?
Huh? Who does the majority of chores?
Yes, Nikki most of the time, but I do some.
You do some.
Yes.
Who does the majority of them?
This week it's Nikki.
Yeah, what your major is, what is it? Hotel, what? What's your major in school? Business and, what is it? Forget.
Hospitality and
Yeah, I don't know, but it's the greatest major right now.
yeah, I know.
So, we may have to end up changing that. I don't know. We'll see after this term. We'll check it out. I can imagine as a teenager being stuck at home, that's rough. You having a hard time?
Not really. I'm not the kind of people who usually hang out.
I'm not the kind of person.
I'm not the kind of person who usually goes out and hang out with his friend.
What kind of person are you? You go to school. I'm going to tell you what kind of person you are.
All right.
You go to school. You do your classes. You go to the gym at school. You come home. You study. You eat like everybody else. You do your thing. You practice guitar. You exercise at home. And you sleep. And every once in a while, he does chores. Yeah, you see, they're asking, Soy Dog Cowboy saying, bring in the guitar. What?
It's in my bedroom right
Yeah. So, why don't you bring the acoustic in? You want to bring it in? What was that song that we were singing the other day?
now. It's by Tesla.
No, I don't want to sing that one. I don't want to say that. What about making merits? Making merits? I don't know how he's going to do that right now. He makes merit by being a good son to his mother and father. And what I'm alluding to is that he doesn't always do his chores nearly as much as Nicholas, because he always finds some way out. He's good at weaseling out of stuff. He is he is good at that. He's good at weaseling out of he doesn't weasel out of doing the dishes. He doesn't weasel out of doing the dishes. He does do the dishes, but he's supposed to do them at night. He does them in the morning. Let's see. Let me look and see where you are. Hang on. How about what's that Hurt song? Remember?
That Cash song?
Johnny Cash. It's actually 9 Inch Nails. But do you remember that?
Not really.
Well, what do you remember? What have you been working on lately?
Just trying to learn the music theory.
A little more music theory. So what about the song? Oh, I don't know if you can play songs. That's the thing. You can't play. That's the problem. He can't play. I forgot all about that. Copyright. I was like, oh, why don't you play a couple songs for us? He can't play them.
What if it's in a different key?
No, because it's the same. It's the same thing. You're still playing the song.
Yeah, I'm not.
They know the riff. The algorithm will figure out the riff. Yeah, you could just riff, just play whatever you feel like. Yeah, that's great. Do what you're doing the other day. I forget what it was with the Careless Whispers. Like you pay the song Careless Whispers. I didn't ever put it up, and I've been meaning to put it up, but he's got so much stuff. You can't do it beyond Trinity. Almost every song, especially Careless Whispers that I was just talking about, you can't do that one. And I'll show you guys. We're not going to do it. You can't even do a critique and get away with it anymore, man. Believe me. These people that are doing it, okay, I understand that they're doing it and maybe for whatever reason they're getting away with it, but I'm not about to risk my channel just to put a song up. But let me see. I'm going to look on here and show some of these things. I'm going to show you which is the one that you like so much, the Rainbow, and don't bring up the ones that we don't know, or Rainbow, or I forget what it was. They don't even have the. What the hell is going on here? They don't even have. This is just This is all non-copyrighted music. And that's not what we want. We want the music that... Hang on a second. Let me see what we're seeing here. Just play any song out of key, like in Wayne's World, where they play Stairway to Heaven out of... Yeah, it'll be demonetized, man. I know who Rick Beato is. Do you know who he is?
Rick Beato?
Yeah.
I think I heard of him before.
He's on YouTube. He does stuff. I know he does, but I don't remember. I'm not into it like he is. You play Jingle Bells? I don't know if you can do that. Let me look at the. I'm going to look at the music. Hang on. Let me get this Studio Classic, because right now you can't even in Studio. You can't even bring up copyrighted music. They've got Studio and Legacy Classic, and you can't even bring up. I don't even see where you can bring up the. Like, this is music policies. The music policy directory is going away when we turn off Classic Studio. So that's the end of this month. They won't even put on the copyrighted songs. Like, what was the, let's see, Hurt. Oh, it's taking a long time. Johnny Cash, Hurt. What's it say?
Not available.
Yeah, this song, I'll show you guys exactly what it does. Let me see if I can, it's not, if you use this song, your video may be blocked or muted. What about Careless Whispers? Which, Alex was riffing on that, which was kind of good.
By ear.
By ear,
yeah,
yes.
By ear.
Well, that's what you should be able to do. Careless Whispers. Can't you see? They don't even have. Oh, George Michael.
Yeah.
Okay, if you perform a cover of George Michael, a cover of Careless Whispers, it's blocked in 199 countries, and in the rest of the countries, it's eligible for revenue sharing. There's a thing called What Makes This Song Great. Yeah, I've seen that guy. Canon in G. I don't think he knows it. I mean, there are still a ton of covers. I know there are, but first of all, this will be demonetized. My channel may not be demonetized. What?
It's Canon in D, I think.
Canon in D or Canon in G?
I think it's in D.
Well, maybe there's a Canon in G also.
Maybe.
Can you play Canon in D? Are you allowed? Do you know it?
Yeah, well, I don't think I will play it.
Why, you don't know it?
No, I know that song.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Is it easy?
Classic.
Is it easy?
Not too hard from what I played.
So all the YouTube channels that do covers are not monetizable. Yeah, pretty much. Every single video that I've put up that has a song by a copyrighted, a song that's copyrighted, has been blocked or blocked completely to where you can't hear the
Song.
not only the song but the background. So it'll just take off everything. It'll just take the video down. It'll be like, I can see that there was a video there, but I won't be able to see the music. And this is what happened to the video. The video that I was drinking, the last one where I was drinking tequila, the 5-hour stream. Well, the one before that I didn't ever put up. The reason I didn't put it up is because there were songs in it, and all of those songs, they used to be monetizable. You could put them on there, and I would just have to share the revenue, which I don't care because I'm not making that much off of the advertising. So it's like maybe they're getting 50 cents, $1. If I make $2, maybe they're making $1. So I didn't really care because, usually I get super chats or PayPals or something like that. And then it's like, all right, so, big deal. I don't make $1, But now they either don't let you put it up, or you have to block that section out, or you have to just block the whole, everything. The sound is just muted. So if we're talking, you won't be able to hear it. I mean, there are still a ton of covers on YouTube. It's the same thing, but I'll show you what they. Let me show you something, okay? I'm going to show you something here. Gesundheit. Oh boy. Let me show you what this is what it says when you put it up. I'll give you an example of this. This is what you get, okay? Now, what 249 countries means is it's blocked around the world. It's not on any channel, right? And that's what most of them say. Let me find something else. What was that other one? Tesla?
Yeah.
What is it? It's not what you like, or it's not what you like. What is it? It's not what you give.
Yeah.
It's not what you give. It's what you give. No,
that's
not what you.
end, right?
I forget the name. I forget the name of it now. Let me see here. Tesla. I'll just put Tesla in. We'll see what they say about that, because that's a good song. I don't think you can even play that riff from the beginning. Now, Alex tried to teach me guitar. He's tried a couple of times. What you give. It's not what you give. It's not what you get. It's what you give. Okay. And then this one right here, I'll show you another thing that they do. And so if one of their songs is blocked, quite often almost all of them are. And Pink Floyd, every one of Pink Floyd's songs used to be allowed. You had to share the revenue with them, but it used to be allowed. Now that's not the case. Let me see. This is it, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me show you. This is a little different. This is what it shows. There you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Cowboy. That's Cowboy. Mr. Cowboy. All right, so that's what it is. There we go. Excellent. So hopefully this will come up. Let's see here. Yeah, it should be up. This is the other thing that I can't see what the shit anymore. This is what so it says the song is not available for your use in YouTube videos. If you use this song, your video may be blocked or muted. So they could just mute this part of the song, or they could block the entire, like for this, they could block the entire stream. And sometimes I don't really care, but what I don't want is them to say, you get a copyright strike. And that's the reason why so many people, including myself, I try to be very careful just about even where I walk when there's music playing, and, you know, trying to block out the song, because it's just, you know, they've become, I don't want to say they've become quite harsh, because I do understand you can't be giving away music for free, but like when you're walking down the street and some music's playing, you know, copyright strikes are bad. And what I used to get was I would get a message saying, you don't have to worry. This isn't a copyright strike. This is just a notice that your video is going to be muted in that area, or it's going to be blocked, or do you want to contest this? Or you just do nothing, and then maybe they'll mute that little section of the where the song is, and you just basically just made sure you didn't get a copyright strike, and then everything was fine. Now I don't know what's what. I mean, you know, this is the thing. YouTube doesn't explain to people, hey, this is the reason for this. We're doing this because they do say with the songs, they'll give you a notice, and it'll say, let me see if I can pull something up. They'll say something like, let me see something here. It's not very fast. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can pull this up. What am I thinking here? I'm looking for the the part where it tells me the copyright violations, but I'll show you guys. They're very, I mean, you know, they're trying to cover their bases so that they don't get sued. Here we go, copyright notices, and you know, they're trying to protect people's interests. All right, is this it? It's coming up now. Yeah, every time we cough, my wife got all pissed off because I said I didn't feel good last night. I said I really don't feel good. I got a headache. My back hurts, and she's like, "Wear the mask." I'm like, "I'm not wearing a mask in my house. I've been here. What are you talking about? We've all been in the house. It's not going to do any good at this point. Sorry." And she got a little bit irritated. I have no copyright strikes, at least not to my knowledge. No, none. But I do have a lot of copyright claims. And I'll show you. I'm going to show you guys this, so you know. Although the internet is quite slow. Yep, it's lawyers on behalf of artists or labels who own that artist's music. Well, I mean, you know, again, it comes down to monetization. How are you going to make money off of your hard work? And you know, I understand the singers and you know, everybody else. I mean, let me just show you. I'll show you two things here. I'll just show you my page here. What is that? Still number one. You know, a lot of people have no concept of just what it means. And, you know, I understand most people don't care because it's like, hey, well, you know, you play the music, great. I don't care what happens to you unless, you know. All right, like, look at this. 11 copyright. 11. Oh, this was a beer and a shot. Oh, this was the day after, I guess. And I had not yet. I'll show them this too. Huh? All right, so now we should be ready. Let me put these up and I'll show you guys. Crazy. When I look back on them and I look at how many there are, and you know, I put up, like I said, I've said this before, I put up a video, it was about Vietnam, and it was like, "Wish You Were Here" or something like that. I used the song, and I just said, "Hey, you know, I won't monetize the video," and they took they actually took the video and blocked it. All right, so here is, yeah, that's just page one. Okay, so this is what you get. I'll show you guys. So you know, I'll enlighten some people who are watching who may not know, and this is not just me. So you know, I'm not whining about this at all. I mean, you know, this happens to everybody, and fortunately, it's not like it's costing me millions of dollars. Now. Yeah, here, this should come up in a second. That's this one, right? Lawyers and lawsuits affect creativity, freedoms, cause ridiculous regs, etc., etc. Well, yeah, I look at it a little bit differently because I don't want people stealing my photography, and I don't want to steal people's music. And it is there. If I take a photograph, it's my photograph. If I want to allow someone to use it for, say, an advertisement for commercial use, they have to pay me. That's the way that it works. That's business.
I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
Just
put it right down. Put it right there. You don't have to go out there and put that all there. I want to play that later. I can't really. Alex has been trying to play me the guitar, but I can't really teach me the guitar, but I can't really play because my hands are not good. They're arthritis, you know, old people stuff. All right, let me put the other one up so you'll see. I'll just give you another look real quick. That's one. Here's the second. Okay. There's the second one. Right? So you can see every single one of these. There's a copyright claim on every single one of those. Right? Now, they're not making a whole lot of money, and the reason is because I locked them down at first. Nobody could, if I'm not going to make any money from them, the only people I want to see to be able to see these videos now are the people who are like in Patreon or whatever, or on my website. Everything else, I mean, I don't really care whether they're on YouTube or not. In fact, I'd take them down, because why should I allow YouTube to have my content? And that's always how I felt, because I don't want to write something and I don't get paid for it. Like I don't want to write a book and then I don't get paid for it. I don't want to write for a magazine and they go, oh, sorry. Now, if you see the one down, was this the blocked one? Or I'm not sure which one this is. But let me see. I'm going to put this one up and then you'll get a better idea. This is what they give you. A little bit different stream today, eh? All right, so here comes this. Let me see here. Rules are rules. Saturday night. I don't remember which one. Oh, I think it was Ouch. That's the one. There'll be something coming up here in a second that shows there were 11 songs there was a copyright claim on them. So there ain't a chance in hell that, they're going to let this play. And it should come up as a bit of a lag. All right, there we go. You see, it tells you the claimant. It tells you where it is. It allows you to play a match so you can see what they're talking about. And then you can either remove the song, which removes that section of the video, or you can file a dispute. And, I've only filed one dispute. No, that doesn't work, Happiest Days. Need to create some slack by allowing, say, maximum 30 seconds of a song. It doesn't work. Believe me. You can put up, I think they have a thing now. What they did was they relaxed their rules a little bit on the copyright strikes. What they did was they said, we understand that things happen, and you should not lose your livelihood or the ability to earn revenue from your video because, you were walking along and then something was playing in the background and it was like 3 seconds. So I think they have like there's a limit. Like if the song goes long, if it's like a 30-second song, they're going to, believe me, they will shut that down. They will put a claim in or a strike. But if it's like 5 seconds, then generally you can get away with it. But what can you do with 5 seconds? I mean, usually what you can get away with is like the kids do. They do little fast clips, right? I mean, how many people do you know that you watch in your younger YouTube channels that you watch? How many do you know that are using copyrighted music like, Led Zeppelin or ZZ Top or...
Barely.
Not very many, right?
Right.
Yeah. And the reason that they're probably not using... They're not... well, when they do use it, they don't use like a long song, or what they do is they do an evaluation of it. And even that, what was the name of that guy there was a guy out there who, what he did was, he wanted to teach something about the song. I forget what the guy's name was. I think you showed him to me, or somebody else showed him to me. All right, Beyond Trinity, you take it easy. We're just about done here. But there was a guy on, and he was trying to teach people how a riff came together and how to play it. And YouTube took the video down, and he challenged it, and they said, sorry, no, you can't do it. So he would try to play a riff. Was that who it was? Beto? Yeah, I remember that. That's how, I didn't remember it was him, but I do remember that happening. And he was like, what am I supposed to do? How can you teach people music if you can't play certain songs? And I don't think... Legally, it's like, well, you're going to have to do it in somewhere else, Or what I've thought about doing is I can put up on my website, I can put up to 2 gigs of a video. So I can, that's why sometimes I will, and even in Vimeo, you can get away with it. So like I have some video clips of Alex playing, what was the name of that Jimi Hendrix song with the was it the wah wah? Wow, Voodoo Child. He was trying to learn how to get that part down from the beginning of Voodoo Child by Jimmy Hendrix rather. Sorry. I'm speaking quickly. And also Careless Whispers. He was riffing on Careless Whispers. I've been meaning to put that together. I thought, oh, that'd be great. I could put it up on YouTube. And then I'm like, no, I can't. Yeah, I would be pissed if I was him. It's like, you know, this is why it's like, oh, you have to give a critique of it. No, a lot of times that doesn't matter. I don't know how some of these channels get away with it. Some do, some don't. But I can tell you that almost every single video that I put up in the last month, and all the way back through Hong Kong, most of the videos that I put up, they always get flagged for some kind of copyright violation. And I would say 9 out of 10 times, YouTube goes ahead and monetizes them. They review it, and then they monetize it. Especially if you're, you know, and the other thing is how many advertisers want you to talk about, say, the coronavirus? Not many. You know, you would think so, but you have to be dealing with the right subject matter, and then it becomes more monetizable. But if you're talking about something controversial, they can easily come in. The algorithm can easily deny you, and so you know it's just, this is another thing in the world, the way that things are going, and get in the picture. We want to see you. Everybody wants to see you. They don't want to see me. Believe me, if you were doing this live stream, not me, there would probably be more people, a younger crowd, right? When are you going to cut your hair?
In a long time.
It's going to be a long time.
Yeah,
he's able to keep. Will they let you go to school like that when you start
yeah.
when you go into this university? Will they allow you to go back with that kind of hair?
Yeah.
Really?
They don't have a problem.
There's no. Okay, there's
no.
no haircut code.
Yeah.
So you really want to be like a? I haven't shown this, man. I haven't shown this to Grandma. You know, I could never have hair like his because my hair was very curly. So I am a little envious, but I'm happy that you can grow your hair long. Now the only thing is you got to live up to the long hair and become a rock star or a musician, whatever you want to call it. You can do whatever. So anyway,
what topics are you gonna talk next?
We're gonna say goodbye.
I didn't even start yet.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Music.
You want to talk about music? Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, we'll talk. We can extend this for another 15 minutes or 10, 15 minutes. We'll see how it goes. We can talk about. What do you want to talk about?
That one time that you were with the Motley Crue, the drummer.
You gotta come over here. You're gonna have to look at the. Turn your legs. There you go. Right. What do you want to talk about? The time I was with the guy from Motley Crue?
Yeah.
Oh God. Why do you want to know about that? Why do you want? Have you been saving that question for me?
Yes. I have.
Yes, I did. I did hang out with Tommy Lee of Motley Crue back. They had come out with, I think, their first, maybe second album, and my buddy grew up with him and his sister. His sister's name is Athena. Easy name to remember. And so we used to hang out. Me and my buddy, we used to hang out all the time. We saw each other every day. We did all kinds of things, went places and did stuff. And his father owned a video arcade. But it was a video arcade where, you know what? I need a paper towel because I might sneeze. His father owned a video arcade, and it was the kind of arcade where it had like Pac-Man. This is that long ago. Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all these other kind of games, right? His father owned this, so I used to go there. I used to go exercise, and there was a martial arts dojo next door, and I used to go over there after I trained, and I'd play video games with him, and we'd hang out afterwards. And so we got to be good friends. I actually lived with him for a couple of months, and so one day he said to me, "Oh man, he used to always talk about Motley Crue, and he had some what do you call them, demo tapes from Motley Crue, and he always used to play, man, they rock, and I'd be like, yeah, all right, man, they rock, all right, but I was not nearly as into them as he was because he knew them. And so one day he said, Tommy's in town, man. I'm like, cool. Yeah, we're gonna go see him. I'm like, what? Yeah, we're gonna go see him. We're gonna go hang out. So we hung out with him, and he took us around. He had a Corvette at the time. He took us around in the Corvette. We did things we probably shouldn't have done that I won't talk about in front of my son. And we ended up hanging out for 3 days. And then I don't know what happened to him, and I don't know if he would remember me. I don't think so. I doubt it. I really doubt it. He may remember vaguely when my friend and I met up with him because he knows my friend for a long time, and he knows him pretty well. He may remember that, but I don't think he would remember me. But anyway, we went out and had a good time and party, and I always thought, oh, wow, man, And then they became much bigger than they were at the time. And now, like most people, they know the group Motley Crue. They may not like them, but they know them. So, all right, next.
Each generation, they have their own kind of taste in music, right? Like
right.
In the late 90s.
Yes.
In the late 90s, hip hop is
beginning
to take off.
Right.
And now they're taking over.
They're taking over?
Kind of.
You don't like it?
It's not that I don't like it. I have,
You have a variety of tastes.
Yes, but my taste still goes to rock and roll.
Well, you know that you can. Thanks, Soy Dog Cowboy. I'll check them out. Yeah. You hang on a second.
All right.
This way you can see. Okay. Now you know what? Here, this will show you right now. That was why I was doing that, because that way you can see it, and I can use things everywhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now you can see yourself. So just keep an eye on that. Okay. So this is why I always tell you to be involved with different genres of music. Don't only get into rock and roll. Become a full-fledged musician that can jump into anywhere and play anything. I don't know if you know, but what's that guy's name? Paul Schrader. He used to be on the what is it, Conan and David Letterman, the shows. They were late night shows. Okay, you've seen the guys and you've seen him, but you probably don't remember. He's played with all kinds of bands. I mean, the guy from American Idol, Randy Jackson. He's not with them anymore, but he's played with a bunch of groups, and he's played all different kinds of music because he knows his music. So, it's great you like rock and roll. That's your preference, but you got to be open to playing whatever.
I know. That's what I've been.
Yeah, Paul Schaefer, not Schrader, sorry. Okay, so continue. Go ahead.
Is rock and roll dying, do you think?
No, it's changing, but like nowadays, people, they say, they don't make songs like they used to. If you look on YouTube, you'll always find some old song, and then in the comments, you'll say, they don't make them like they used to. Songs are shit. And I just saw something from Don McLean, American Pie. You know the song American Pie? Bye, bye, Miss American Pie, right? Okay. He was saying that the music now is really one-dimensional, almost to the point of being like religious. So, and I don't mean religious in the context that it is like Christian music or something like that. What I mean is the way that they play it. They know that people want to hear something, so they make it that way. They don't necessarily. They don't have a lot of room to wiggle, which even back in the day. When like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that, they used to try to mold the groups to be a certain way. They'd say, "Oh, you should all wear suits," or like with the Animals, "Oh, you all wear suits," and then that way you have this certain look. So it was their image. They tried to build their image up to be a certain way, and they still do that. But I think that back in the old days, it was a little more difficult to get into music. Now, if somebody wants to, if you wanted to make a song, Alex, you get a singer, you play your music, you put the song together, you edit it, and you make sure that everything's technically really high quality. And if you wanted to make that song, you could release it on the internet and probably do fairly well if the song was good. And in the old days, you couldn't do that. It was about getting a record deal and that kind of thing. And then people were always getting screwed by their record companies. I was just reading about Badfinger. Badfinger? Day After Day. They made very little money for they didn't really ever make a lot of money because they got screwed over until I think Paul McCartney helped them out.
That's the guy from the Beatles.
Yes. Very good. All right, next.
Now, continuing
Any
on
questions?
The subject.
Yeah.
Yeah,
any questions of Alex?
Oh, wait. While we're on the topic.
On the subject?
Right, while we're on the subject.
Uh-huh.
And, if people's been feeding the same... If someone were to feed you the same kind of stuff, they might have remembered it as, that's the only food that they like.
Right.
Uh-huh. And that's how it is with the pop music.
You think so?
Yeah, it's been like that for 20, 15 years or
something. Is that why you hate pop music so much? Because he hates pop. Katy Perry and...
I mean...
You don't like Katy Perry, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't. I mean, their kind of music, I don't like.
Okay. Why not?
It's
not
how I look. It's all the same.
Right.
Right. I mean, there's not much creativity that goes into music that much.
Uh-huh.
And
you think Rainbow and Black Sabbath and all those, they had their own particular image and style, where the style now is more narrow.
Right.
Okay. I can believe that and relate to that. Yes.
What was
Look in the thing here. Make sure you're in there.
Right. Yeah.
No dead air.
What does that mean?
It means you have to be saying something so that you don't just sit here for 20 seconds and people are going, okay, well, go on. Mm-hmm. So go on. Get to your thought.
Right. And I mean, you saw that movie before, right? With the Bradley Cooper as the guitarist.
Was that? Are you talking about with Lady Gaga?
Right.
I didn't see the movie. Okay, sorry, Doug. Yeah.
Yeah, and that movie kind of made a point with, you make music for
yourself,
people to enjoy, and
right.
yourself. Right?
Well,
not selling yourself to the peanut gallery.
No, I understand that, and I've said this before. Mm-hmm. Now that we're on this subject, I've said this before, and I know Steve may, if he's listening, he'll give me a hard time about it. But David Bowie used to say, you stay true to yourself, and you play what you want, and you can't allow yourself to change your style just so that you make the peanut gallery happy. And you also can't just do everything for the money. And I do know that, but it's very difficult
yes,
for not just for somebody like me who, we're fine, but I always think you should be improving, whether it's financially or in quality. And or whatever it might be. Like, you as a guitar player needs to be constantly improving, getting better, expanding your creativity or whatever, right? But I think that if you are stuck, like some musicians, some bands, they come out with one or two songs, and the songs are really good. They make some money, and then like the next album doesn't do very well, and they don't have a hit, and then the third album comes out, and they don't have a hit, and they're poor. And it's kind of like, oh, well, maybe we should change our style a little bit, because our style, like Iron Maiden, not Iron Maiden, who was it? Iron Butterfly, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. Okay, I don't know if you know that song, but it's a very LSD type, old school music, like around the time with Hendrix and that kind of stuff. Yeah. That kind of music, or even like Jimi Hendrix music right now, if a new band came out playing that, I don't know that they would do very well, because times change. The Beatles have endured because they were kind of pop, kind of rock, but even they are getting, I was thinking about it, they came out in early 1960s. They're about 60 years old, 55 years old, some of their music, 50 years old. And some of it is really good. What I think Don McLean was saying in the article that I read was that a lot of the groups now, they don't know how to have a melody. And that's, like the Beach Boys used to have, they used to be like, or what was it? Let me think of the name of that song. Well, the Beach Boys were very melodic. They harmonized. They all sang together, and it sounded really good. And they used to have the doo-wop kind of music, doo-wop, doo-wop, right? And that was kind of it got people going. Oh yeah, like that. Yeah. Now I don't know, but they do that nearly as much.
Right.
I don't, but I don't listen to a lot of new music, and that's why I kind of rely on you and Nicholas to turn me on to new music.
To help you.
And these guys, I'm telling you, for the most part, they want to listen to. They want to listen to old music. They want to listen to classic rock. He likes Rainbow and Guns N' Roses. Okay, yeah, right. You like Slash. Favorite guitarist? Richie Blackmore.
I can't really say. There's a lot of guitarists that I like.
Yeah, well, you don't have a favorite. Who's your top 3 favorite guitarists?
Top 3 right now.
Mm-hmm. Just favorite, not best or anything. Your favorites.
I like. The third would be Richie Blackmore. I like his style.
Mm-hmm.
Right, the way he plays, he's
smooth.
Right, he has the brain for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go on.
And
well, he's very different. If you listen to his music now, have you listened to his music now? You have the music at the medieval kind of
kind of feel.
Okay,
which is cool.
Yeah, whatever. And same with Robert Plant. Robert Plant as a singer is much different now than he was with Led Zeppelin. Mm-hmm. So just because you love rock and roll, listen, I used to only like rock and roll, and I like some classical music. I like some country music. I like some hip hop or rap, some, but I'm a rocker through and through. You know what I mean? But I like other types of music. I like some pop. Some
pop can be good if they get themselves
outside the box. Yeah. Well, that's why a lot of the older, like his stuff from the 70s, and you've listened to some of it, If you ever listened to, like, what was it, the Raspberries? Go Your Own Way, that kind of, or Leo Sayer, those kind of groups and singers. Even to a lesser extent, Casey and the Sunshine Band, who, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Get Down Tonight, and what is it? Do a little dance, make a little love, get down tonight. And that guy used to live in my neighborhood, actually. Casey and the Sunshine Band. Mm-hmm. He used to live. I lived in Miami Lakes. He lived in What's the name of that place? Palm Springs North, I think. I'm not sure. But he lived, and I used to go over and go water skiing with my family because they had friends that we would go over and we would water ski. There was a lake behind their house, and he used to take his boat out and go cruising around on his boat. You know, he had like one of these speedboats that would go out, and he'd be hauling ass around, and he'd be screaming at him and stuff. But anyway, the point is that you need to have some kind of a. I think it's good that these guys, they change it up. So anyway, you said Richie Blackmore. Give me another one.
I think maybe Tom Morello. I don't know.
Tom Morello.
Yeah,
Okay.
he has his own style in there.
Okay, I didn't know you liked him. And
Rage
number.
Against the Machine.
Yeah,
That's a pretty cool band. I mean, I like their concept of, mixing their own style up. They have a little bit of funk. They have rock. That's
Okay.
That's part of the theme, and they have the singer.
What
start with a Z or something.
I don't know who they are. I never listened to them a whole lot. I know some of their stuff. I would know it if I heard it, but.
Killing the Name. That's one of
all right. So what's the number one or the last guitarist that you like? Slash?
He's cool, but.
Or Jimi Hendrix or who?
From
Jimmy Page.
Yeah, Jimmy Page is also cool, but is he my favorite? Yeah, he is, but not like my favorite.
He's not in the top 3?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Really?
But he's good. I like his stuff.
What about Randy Rhoads?
Oh yeah. But it's too bad he's
he's gone. Yeah, well, I told you I saw a concert a couple of months before he died. Doors reference? No, Doors. Oh, Until the End. Music is the reference. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. The end. This is the end.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead. Tell us the other guitarist that you like.
Well, this one, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I just said that.
Right, I like his style.
So
too.
in the top 3, it's Jimi Hendrix, Tom Morello, and Richie Blackmore. Oh, Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads. One more?
I'll probably go for Yngwie.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Right.
Wow. So Slash is not even in the top 5 for you?
I like his style.
So he's number 6.
But sometimes, Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie Van Halen. Okay. What about Eric Clapton? He's all right. You don't listen to him that much, though.
Not much, but I like the way he plays it.
Yeah, but I think you like Van Halen a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into Van Halen a little bit more now.
Really?
Right. If you compare it to me from last year. Which,
from last year to this year, you're starting to like more Van Halen.
Right. I'm moving on.
How's your tapping going? When you're doing your tapping on the guitar.
Right. I'm doing a little better now.
What about that little Chinese girl that plays? What's her name? Yo-Yo? Have you watched her?
Sometimes.
She's pretty badass for being so young.
Yeah, she could probably play the...
She's actually locked down in Wuhan. You know that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Nobody can believe. Anyhow,
yeah. Go on. You got about
5 minutes left.
You got about 6 minutes left.
Huh.
Yeah, this is a little longer than I wanted, especially when I've been saying I'm going to stick to my hour-and-a-half long format. But it's not every day that Alex is here, and it's not every day that we're just hanging out, kind of, So
father and son.
Yeah, that too. Well, we've been hanging out a lot lately because we got nowhere to go.
Right.
Been hanging out too much. Everybody's getting on everybody's nerves here. Leave me alone. Stop asking me questions. What are you doing? Sitting here. Doing what? Chilling. Yeah, you're not going to do anything today? That's my Nicholas, the 23-hour kid. That's his new nickname.
More like 18.
18. Okay, the 18-hour kid.
The koala.
Nicholas Koala Boy Mallon. That's his new nickname because he's constantly sleeping.
You don't
He's
know when
probably
he's gonna wake
is he?
up.
He's probably still. He's asleep now. I guarantee you. He's asleep. So he sleeps. He sleeps for about 18 hours. Then he wakes up and eats.
Watch
Does
some
his
movies.
does his personal stuff. Maybe watches a movie. Does his chores. Right now he's got to do the dishes this week. It's his week to do the dishes.
Last week.
It's his last week.
It's today's his last day.
Oh yeah, today's Sunday. It's his last day, and then it turns into Alex's week. Alex has to throw out the trash, and then he goes back to sleep after that. So anyway, all right. So what? You got anything else you want to talk about? Any more questions? This is Alex is 18. He'll be 19 next month.
Right.
Anyway, go on.
How often do you listen to David Bowie?
David Bowie.
Right.
Every once in a while. I mean, I'd say probably once every couple months. I like Heroes.
I like Scary Monsters.
Scary Monsters. I like Major Tom. I like Under Pressure with Queen. I like Bowie. He's good. I like
He's
him.
a cool dude.
He's a cool dude. Well, he's dead now,
Oh,
unfortunately.
it's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Okay. Next.
The style of music in rock and roll industry.
What about it?
What kind of style do you prefer? Like, do you prefer the Jimi Hendrix kind of style? Like,
Get
kind
in
of.
frame.
I am.
You're not. Look. A little. Yeah, there you go. All right.
It's like.
Yeah. Huh? Okay. What type of style of rock and roll do I like?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough question. I mean, I still like old. Listen, I still like listening to like the Beatles, Creedence, Clearwater, Jimi Hendrix, Badfinger, Golden Earring. I still love all those old bands. But I like some of the 50s stuff. I still like, Bill Haley and the Comets, Buddy Holly. I still like some of that stuff, but I don't listen to it very much. I'd say probably, if you look at let's look at my Spotify. What is this here? No, this is not Spotify. Let's see. Spotify. In my library, artists. We're going to read it up.
I forgot to mention one too.
What?
David Gilmour. I like his stuff.
Oh man, I love him as a guitarist.
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking at stuff on my Spotify. 38 Special, which is kind of southern rock, which I like. Coldplay, which I only like a couple of songs. David Gilmour, I like a lot of his. Oasis, The Outfield, Rod Stewart. Let's see here. I got ABBA, AC/DC, America, Adelaide, Aerosmith, Andrea Bocelli, April Wine, Asia, Audioslave, The Babies, The Beatles, Billy Idol, Black Sabbath, The Black Keys, Bob Seger, Boston, Cheap Trick, Cinderella, The Clash. I like The Clash. I like a lot of Irish music lately. I don't know why. The Cranberries.
Yeah, Irish Plus runs in your veins.
Maybe that's it, but I don't think so. Def Leppard, David Gilmour, The Doors, Duran Duran, Eagles, Elton John, Elvis Presley, Eminem, Eric Clapton, Five Finger Death Punch. Thanks to Longhorns. Thanks for recommending
Fleetwood Mac. I like it.
Fleetwood
I like
Mac.
this
I
stuff.
saw them in concert in 1981.
How many concerts?
How many have I been to? Not that many, really, but no, maybe like
10.
20. Flogging Molly, which was recommended by a viewer, and I actually like them. Flogging Molly. Foreigner, Frank Sinatra, Glenn Campbell, Green Day, Guns N' Roses. Oh, is that you? Oh, yes. You're welcome,
You're welcome.
Longhorns. Oh, there you are. Thank you. James Blunt, Jefferson Starship, Jefferson Airplane, Jet, Jewel, Jim Croce, Joan Jett, John Mellencamp, John Waite, Journey.
Yeah, Journey is a great band too.
Yeah, okay. I like their guitarist, Neil Schon.
Yeah, I like their song, The Separate Ways.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah,
You like the composition of it?
Right.
Okay.
The keyboards.
The keyboard.
Made it.
Yeah, well, get Nicholas to play that if he can ever practice. He's so lazy.
I asked him for it.
Giovannotti, Italian. Casey and the Sunshine Man, Keen, Keedy, Kid Rock, The Killers. I like The Killers. And, you know, to me, they're fairly new, but guess what? They're not. Led Zeppelin, Lily Allen, Loverboy, Leonard Skinner, Merle Haggard, Miles Davis. There you go, Jono, if you're listening. Molly Hatchet, Motorhead. Yeah, I like them. Muse, Molly Hatchet, Neil Schon, Neil Young, Offspring, Olivia Newton-John. The Outfield, Ozzy, Pat Benatar, Paul McCartney, Pearl Jam, Pete Townsend, Peter Frampton, Pink Floyd, The Pogues.
You listened to Hawkwind before?
No. Pretenders, Puddle of Mud, Queen, Queensryche, The Raconteurs, Rat, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Robbie Williams, Rod Stewart, Rolling Stones. Nicholas is too busy doing Hi Brothers. He's too busy doing the chores, and you don't. Rolling Stones, Roy Clark, Rush, Sammy Hagar, Scorpions. Scorpions used to be my favorite band. I don't know that they are anymore. Sixpence None the Richer. That girl's got a great voice. Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Steve Perry, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Now, I like him. You like him as a guitarist?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Cool.
He's awesome. Really. The Strokes, Styx, Tammy Wynette, Tears for Fears, Ted Nugent, Little Cat Scratch Fever, Tesla, 30 Seconds to Mars, The Three Tenors, Tom Petty, Tracy Chapman, Traveling Wilburys, U2, Van Halen, Velvet Revolver, Weezer, The Who, and ZZ Top. Whew. The Laws. Oh, yeah. Can't forget The Laws.
That's a lot.
You think so? So long?
Right.
What was that other group, though? There was not the Pogues, not Flogging Molly, but I've been listening to these songs a lot lately. What are they? You know which ones I'm talking about. Based on your recent... what time? Yeah, Dropkick Murphys. They're pretty good. Flogging Molly. And what was that other group? Nope. Hang on a second. Oh, liked songs. We should be able to find it. There's Ingwe. The Real Mackenzies. Canadian-Irish band. The Real Mackenzies. I like the Strokes. They're good. Offspring. Yeah. So that's it. And with that, this stream has run its course. Let me read off my little blurb here. It's time to say goodbye. Did you have a little fun?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's been good.
Today was supposed to be a nothing stream. So that's why we basically didn't talk about anything serious. At least I tried not to. So everybody please stay inside, stay safe. You know, wash your hands. Don't sneeze into somebody's face. Thank you very much for watching. If you've yet to subscribe, please do so. Make sure to click on the bell, you know, that little bell. Where are we at here? Click on the bell to make sure you get notified of when I'll be streaming or when a video goes up. Click like. Very important. Click like, share, leave a comment. And if you like what I'm doing, we've got to get our studio set up here. I need a little better studio than what I've got here. I need I'm going to need to get a big microphone, 2 of them at least. And I've got to get a better table. Maybe that's something I can work on in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, if you like what I'm doing, then and you want to support the channel, take a look in the description. Get some merch. You know, I got a little bit of merch. I got some shirts, some coffee mugs, and stuff like that. You can just go to the description or at americaninbangkok.com/Scott. I believe the next stream may be tomorrow morning, and we will talk about news and everything that's going on. And there is a lot going on right now, a lot to talk about. So I'll have something up in the next, probably in the next hour. I'll have something up about whether it's tomorrow or Tuesday. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you very much. Time to go. Time to say goodbye. So let me just, where's that little, oh, what happened? I didn't hit the, let me see here. You see, now I ruined my, let's just play something. We'll just play anything. How's that? We got to have some exit music. I don't know the song. Wait. Okay, I'm waiting. Every time I look at you, I can't.
How long do you think that
I don't know. I have no idea. I never worry about that because I don't have good hair like that. I got lousy hair. Don't, no, please, don't. I mean, how long's that been growing where you haven't trimmed it? 6 months. All right, well, let me do my little thing here.